Well, here we are, round... Oh, I've completely lost track. I don't really care about what number it is anymore. I'm just so sick of this happening. How many times have I had to jack this thing up already? This is fun. This is real fun. Hey everyone, I'm just real peachy right now, and that's just because my car for the past month has been driving me absolutely nuts. I swear, Tuesday has now become my least favorite day because every single Tuesday for the past January, something has gone wrong in this car, either to the point where I'm left stranded or to the point where I have to ride in extreme discomfort on the way home because something in the car broke. And I am so tired of this. January was not kind to Red Fox at all. So I am sitting in here today prepping to do hopefully a simple job. All I need to do is replace an alternator. That's what I'm doing today, but there is still more to fix on this thing, way more to fix. And the alternator already drained my account to, oh gosh, actually you guys do not want to know how much that thing costs, but also you do not want to know how poor I am now because this thing keeps breaking. Anywho, rant aside, let's actually get into a little more specific of what the hell has been going on with Red Fox for the past month. Let's begin. Okay, so sitting here in Red Fox, right now it's really cold, and that's because I do not plan on starting up the engine because I'm not going anywhere. I'm sitting at home. But what has gone wrong with this car? Because so much has gone wrong with it over the past month. Well, okay, early December, you guys might remember I uploaded that video where I took the car into JB's, which is the auto repair shop that I go to because they're cheap. And that was to diagnose an exhaust issue where there's a leak in the exhaust system that basically makes the car a lot louder than she should be. Now, to my surprise, probably due to the cold temperatures, the bolts and everything might have tightened up a bit because the car has not been as loud as before, but you can still tell that there is some exhaust leaking still because she's not as silent as she used to be. But that's not the issue that I'm talking about because that was actually in December. Let's talk about what really went wrong in January. So starting Tuesday, I started to have a lot of tire leaks, and yeah, every Tuesday evidently is when I go to actually air up the tire because yeah, I got a tire leak. That's not as major, but actually due to that tire leak constantly losing air, it's really made the tire pressure monitoring system upset because hey, you're losing air, freak out. TPMS is absolutely freaking out, and that's not too major. I mean, the sensors still work, as I discovered, and apparently my clothes just finished washing. I'll have to go dry them. The sensors still work, but the light keeps coming on because I got a slow leak. That's workable. I can wait till summer because I got dedicated summer tires for this now. So yeah, when summer comes, that should solve the TPMS light. But that's not the worst. Here comes the real worst part, and this actually stranded me. So Tuesday, I actually have a class where I go to learn more about the guitar, one of my favorite instruments, because my own self-taught knowledge only took me so far. So I went to seek guidance from another teacher. And this was actually after here comes the ironic thing. He had car troubles himself that day, and because of that, I gave him a ride home. And after I came home, I decided, okay, I'm gonna go check on the ChargePoint chargers because believe it or not, the chargers had just went online the day before, so I had to go check it out. And so I drove up to the parking deck and checked out the chargers, and sure enough, they were working. It only took 5 months, but the stations are finally online. Oh my goodness, finally. And look how cheap it is! What? That's crazy! And no, that's not to park here on the parking deck, that is actually to charge. What? And then it came time to leave. Well, here's a fun situation I'm in. I'm currently at the charger, and the car just broke down. It seized up on the brakes. I can barely move the car without, yeah. I'm real happy happy with this car, aren't I? The car wouldn't move. She started up, but she did not move. I put the car in reverse, and all I could hear was this nasty screech coming from the wheels. I'm like, oh, crap. Do not tell me I accidentally bumped the parking brake. Now, I've ranted about this before outside of the YouTube space, but let me rant again. And this is something that actually the government needs to step in and take care of, because they've actually made legislation about this. And because of this, every car runs this risk. Every single one with an automatic transmission. Here comes the rant. Well, I found the culprit. This thing right here. This is the parking brake. Not what the car uses to actually park itself. That's actually done in the transmission. This is the manual solution that you typically find a lever for, or in my case, it's in the footwell. This is the manual parking brake. And it's engaged. I don't know why. And on the other side, I did check on the other side. The other side, it's not engaged, but on this side, it is. Why? Oh, well, here's why I got stranded last night. So what happened was, yeah, the parking brake, I don't know how it did it, but somehow it engaged itself and it locked up. How did it lock up? It rusts! And automatic transmission vehicles don't need the parking brake. You can come up with any excuse you want, but as long as a vehicle has an automatic transmission with a parking pawl, you don't need a parking brake. All it is there for now is something to hold you in place, like permanently, because it'll rust and then you got it. So yeah, what happened was my parking brake rusted in place, and I don't know how it engaged itself because I did not bump it. I even checked the parking brake pedal in the footwell, and actually it was fully disengaged, so I have no clue how the hell that thing actually engaged itself. But that part didn't matter, whether I knew how it engaged itself or not. I had an issue where it engaged itself and I could not move the car. So thank goodness my dad works only 5 minutes away from where I park, and I had him come and help free up the brakes. And I basically drove this home at very slow speeds, especially on the highway with hazards on, because we couldn't fully get it to disengage, but we got it mostly disengaged. I actually still have to get in there and actually disconnect the cable itself, because guys, I'm serious. The parking brake is useless. There is no use for a parking brake in an automatic transmission. Manual transmission, yeah, that's how you actually hold the vehicle in place. And because the parking brakes in manual transmission vehicles actually get used, therefore they don't rust because they're getting used. But in automatics, they're not getting used. And actually EVs, a lot of electric cars use the parking brake for park as well, because you don't want to run the motors all the time, because that's actually how the motors would hold the car. You have to run them. So a lot of EVs resort to using the parking brake, and that's fine. As long as it gets used, it's fine. But in automatic transmission, gas-powered vehicles, it never gets used. So it's only there to brake, and when it breaks, you're stranded. So that's actually what happened with the parking brake situation. And then of course that absolutely freaked out the computer for the past 2 weeks. It's just been freaking out every single time. And this is after we disengaged the parking brake manually by taking a hammer to it. This is after we disengaged the parking brake. The computer was still freaking out even though all wheels are free. So I just got back from church in Red Fox, which means, okay, hey, we finally got the braking system, well, sort of figured out. I mean, well, at least I think. The car moves now, but I actually have to put a couple fuses back in. I took the fuses to the braking and ABS systems were all taken out, so I have to put those back in. But look what else came on the ride home. That little bugger. Again. Why? Something tells me it destroyed a sensor. Now, it hasn't been going on for the past 2 weeks, so I don't know if it fixed itself or not, but it's still an issue of note. And actually, it's the same exact wheel where my dad bought me that junky bearing to replace one of them. So, yeah, that's another bearing I'm probably gonna have to change out at some point. Dang, my thumb is so cold. It is freezing out here, guys. But is that all? Nope. This is actually another scenario where I got sort of stranded, but it was actually stranded at home. Well, sort of. I was actually at the end of the driveway. The car died at the end of the driveway, and actually what it was the alternator, and that's what I'm replacing today. So yeah, the alternator died, and because of that, driving this for the past 2 weeks has absolutely sucked. I had to plug this car in when I got home every single day because, well, you got nothing to charge the battery when you're on the road, and now all of the lights and gauges and braking systems and all such like that, yeah, they were all running off the battery, so I'd have to come home and plug in every single night because, well, there's nothing to charge that battery now. The alternator's dead. All right, so I just got home in my car and the alternator's still dead, so here's what I have to do now that I get home every time until I replace the alternator. Shut the car off, which I already did. Get out. Pop the hood. Whew, it's warm under there. Pop that open. Grab this. Make sure I know where these cables are going. And because there's no negative terminal, I actually have to ground this. Somewhat right in there, just like that. Grab the extension cord. Oh dear, that's not too wet. All right, what have we got here? All right. Charging. And due to that, I actually had to drive this in a very uncomfortable way where I couldn't run the heat except to defrost the windshield. No heated seats, no heated steering wheel. The car was freezing cold. So yeah, this has not been fun. I also could not use remote start to start this up because, well, yeah, it wouldn't be smart to. So, all right, enough rambling about the problems with this. Let's get under the hood and actually replace that alternator. And so that way I can use this car with the heat on and heated seats and heated steering wheel because my hands are freezing. Okay, so first thing we have to do is disconnect the battery, and you might be thinking, why am I in the back seat? The battery's up front, except actually if you lift the seat, it's not up front, it's under the back seat. Yeah, this is a strange decision. I don't know why they decided to design the car this way, but the battery's in the back seat. And now I basically have to disconnect it from the systems because we're working with electricity and this is dangerous. So let's grab a wrench and disconnect that battery. too deep in here. What's the weird thing, huh? Huh? What's the weird thing? Hey, buddy. You helping me out? Huh? You helping me fix my car? You helping me fix my car? I love you. Alright.
Ready, buddy? Your finger.
Oh, crap.
Oh no. Did he knock something in there?
Yep, there goes a wrench. Yeah, we slipped right off. Oh, shoot, no!
It broke?
He snapped.
How much does a new belt cost?
I don't know. Just over, but it costs more than it should. Well, you join me now in not Red Fox. You might think this is Red Fox, but no. I am so mad right now. I am absolutely furious. I have almost no money left in my checking account, and I now have to get a new part, a belt, because it's snapped. I can't keep doing this. Gas cars suck. I'm gonna say this right now. Gas-powered cars suck. I need to get in the center lane! Jeez. So I finally picked this up, made it to advanced, dealt with more idiot drivers as always, and if one more thing breaks, then I have no money to fix the car. I am this screwed. I've already reflected the reliability aspect of the car on the cardboard because I ranked it there. The score has now been adjusted to account for this total bullshit that's just going on. Don't buy a gas car. Don't. It's a waste of your money. Seriously, this sucks. I'm so tired of this thing constantly breaking down. Don't buy a gas car. Any kind. Don't buy one. Alright, you joined me inside of Red Fox on my way to, well, 2 destinations actually. I gotta go back to the auto parts store because, well, now that I got the alternator swap, I can get a discount if I bring the old alternator back. As you can see right there in that seat lies the old alternator, and I am going to return that to Advanced Auto Parts. And then because it's Saturday, and you may have noticed, I'm dressed all nice and fancy, I gotta go to church and play an organ. So I'm going to end this video off right here. Guys, don't buy a gas car. It's not worth it. Especially when I've sunk this much money in one. I hate it. I can't wait to get a Tesla. I am so impatient now because I am so tired of dealing with this car. Oh yeah, and I've been ranting about my finances being low. Do not be concerned about it. I do have a savings account and I'm actually financially okay in the savings department. The checking department is actually what's low. And the reason why I don't want to pull from savings is because that's what's going towards the Tesla. So I want to pull as little from that account as possible. But anywho, yeah, that's going to conclude this video here because I gotta get on the highway real quick. All right, thank you for watching. Do me a favor and interact with the stuff below. My name is DeWolf, Random Alpha, signing out.